homie.
So the carry and drag was really interesting. They had to carry an anchor one length of the course and then lay it down, hook it onto a loop that was at the end of the chain, and then drag the chain and the anchor all the way back that length of the course as well. So 1 point went to Gav Bilton, who went first, versus Kelvin de Ruyter and Pablo Cordiaca. So it was 3 lanes going at once here, not 2. And he was third place the whole way, 42.22 seconds for Gavin. He did finish the course. I think everybody actually finished the course. 2 points went to Rauno Hainla, who went fourth in the order, versus Alexei Novikov and Konstantin Janasha. Barely third in the heat, so it was pretty close. 35.87 seconds for him. Good enough for 2 points in Rauno. 7th place overall coming into this event. Now an 8th after this event. Konstantin Janasha came into this event 3rd overall, as we had mentioned in an earlier video. He gets 3 points here for a 35.28 second performance. He went 4th in the order versus Rauno Hainla and Alexei Novikov. Barely beats out Rauno for 2nd in the heat after dropping the chain in the hook instead of placing it. So instead of trying to do it, he dropped it and it kind of fell nicely for him. Made up some time there. And in 4th place now overall after this event. 4 points went to Athor Melstead, who came into this event in 5th place and came out of this event in 7th place. 33.51 seconds for him. He went 2nd in the order versus Ivar Schmuckstellis and Pa O'Dwyer. Marius Lalas went 3rd in the order versus Shane Flowers and Luke Stoltman, the defending European champion. He was 3rd in this heat after a good start, 30.11 seconds. 5 points to him. He was in 4th place overall coming into this event and in 5th place overall after this event. So it was a solid run. The other guys were just very fast. And as you'll see as we work our way up the points, 6 points went to Pa O'Dwyer, who I mentioned went versus Ivar Schmuckstellis and Athor Melstead. It was neck and neck most of the way until Athor fell on the drag portion, the beginning of the drag portion. Then Pa and Ivar's went kind of neck and neck to the end. Ivar's pulled right ahead in the last sort of third of the race. Commentary team, I think, had it a little backwards, or my angle was bad. But I had Ivar's ahead basically the last third of the race. 29.03 seconds for the aforementioned Ivar Schmuckstellis coming into this event. In 11th place, gets 7 points, and that moves him up to 10th place overall. Went 2nd versus Pa and Athor, as we mentioned, and said he was happy with this, but not with the first 2 events. Says he needs to go all out in the last 2 events, so we'll see how that turns out. 8 points went to the defending champion, Luke Stoltman, a performance of 28.4 seconds. He went 3rd versus Shane and Marius Lalas. He bobbled slightly, hooking the chain onto the anchor, so he kind of had to reach back a little bit. But he made up some distance on Shane after that, but Shane held him off. It was never, he made it up and then Shane kind of stopped the progress and just got ahead of him in the end. Pablo Cordiaca gets 9 points coming into this event in 7th place and coming out of this event in 6th place overall, 28.13 seconds. Went 1st in the order versus Gavin Bilton and Kelvin de Ruyter. He was out like a rocket ship, like the anchor doesn't weigh anything. It really looked like he was carrying nothing. He led the whole way until the very end. So 2nd place in the heat for him. Then we had 10 points going to Shane Flowers, who did this in 27.45 seconds. Went 3rd versus Marius Lalas and Luke Stoltman, as we mentioned earlier. He's the one who won this heat. He was solid and fast all the way through and held off Luke at the end, as we mentioned, despite Luke's advances. Then he collapses in exhaustion. He mentions afterward in the interview that he dropped the 120-kilogram anchor on his toe and was kind of screaming curses in his head the whole way back on the drag. So that's an interesting story. 11 points go to Kelvin de Ruyter, who does exceptionally well in this event. 26.50 seconds for him. Went 1st in the order versus Gav Bilton and Pablo Cordiaca. He was in 2nd place most of the way, but he was very fast, and then at the very end just passed Pablo at the end of that drag for an incredible comeback and wins his heat. And the winner of the carry and drag at Europe's Strongest Man 2022 was Alexei Novikov. 12 points go to him. He was coming into this event in 1st place, still in 1st place, so he and Luke Stoltman were tied for 1st. Now at this point, Alexei comes out of this event in 1st and Luke in 2nd place overall. Alexei gets his 12 points for a 26.26 second run. He went 4th versus Rauno Hainla and Konstantin Janasha. And as I wrote here, someone told Alexei that he has heavy weight in his hands. Oh my God, you couldn't tell at all. I think he ran faster with that anchor in his hands than I could run with nothing in my hands, full speed. It was unbelievable speed, out and back, like a total rocket ship. He said he doesn't know how this performance was even possible since he doesn't train this, and then gave a whole bunch of credit to the support of the crowd for Ukraine, and really was very, very thankful to everyone in attendance and his strongman friends for supporting him. So that's how the carry and drag played out at Europe's Strongest Man 2022. Let's have a look at the penultimate event, the Power Stairs.